Ganga Mai ki jai,
Jai.
Jai.
Jamuna Mai ki jai,
Jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Devi ki jai,
Jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Devi ki jai,
Jai.
Jai.
Pramaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai,
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari
Hari Hari
Bol.
Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedant Shami Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharani Nirvisheshanyavadi Paschati Dishatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
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 Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're reading, studying, discussing Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 4, the glories of Madhavendra Puri, Srila Madhavendra Puri's devotional service. Text number 21. Mother Mukti Datri, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Would you like to do the Bengali?
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you.
পূর্বে শ্রী মাধবপুরী আইলা বৃন্দাবন ভ্রমিতে ভ্রমিতে গেলা গিরি গোবর্ধন
Translation. Once, Sri Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. Text 22.
প্রেমে মত্ত নাহি তার রাত্রি দিন অজ্ঞান ক্ষণে উঠে ক্ষণে পড়ে নাহি স্থানাস্থান
Madhavendra Puri was almost mad in his ecstasy of love of Godhead, and he did not know whether it was day or night. Sometimes he stood up and sometimes he fell to the ground. He could not discriminate whether he was in a proper place or not. Om Gyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurin Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shapandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to ask permission and blessings from all the devotees, and especially those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Usually I don't comment unless Srila Prabhupada has some commentary, but there won't be a commentary for quite a few verses. So just a couple of points I wanted to make. So in this previous verse, on verse number 21, if you go back there, Madhavendra Puri traveled to Vrindavan, where he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. Sometimes we hear that the six Goswamis and Lord Chaitanya, following Lord Chaitanya's visit to Vrindavan, rediscovered Vrindavan and the places of pilgrimage there. But here we see prior to Lord Chaitanya, Sri Madhavendra Puri had gone to Vrindavan. So what do you make of those two thoughts? You follow the question? Any ideas? Brahmite, traveling, Brahmite Kona. So the way I take it is, since no one's, Srila Prabhupada was asked by Jayadvaita Swami in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 4th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Sa kalini ho mohata yogo nashta parantapa But in the course of time, the disciplic succession was broken, and so the science of Bhagavad Gita as it is appears to be lost. You maybe remember that verse. So Jayadvaita Maharaj, wasn't a Maharaj at that time, was a brahmachari. He asked Prabhupada, but how can you say it was lost? Because Srila Vyasadeva was present. You follow? So how is it lost? So Srila Prabhupada's answer was, lost means it wasn't generally known. It wasn't widely known. So a few people knew, but Vyasadeva knew Bhagavad Gita, but generally people and the kingly order had lost it. You follow? So similarly, even though Madhavendra Puri is traveling to Vrindavan, obviously circumambulating Govardhan Hill, it wasn't the holiness and the importance of Vrindavan wasn't widely known prior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis. Does that make sense? Okay. In text
Yes.
22, go. Yeah, Pranat Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Also, I was just wondering, in that later on in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jiva, E Rupe, there Brahmite is wandering and here it's traveling.
Yes. So apparently Brahmite can mean traveling and or wandering. What's the difference between traveling and wandering?
Wandering is almost without purpose, traveling is with purpose. And
Yes.
that makes sense. Madhavendra Puri, Sri Madhavendra Puri would travel with purpose.
Yes.
People
Yes.
like me are wandering and we are lost.
In this material world. Yeah, that's right. Mother Sundari, you were going to say something.
Thank you, Prabhu. I was just thinking that the six Goswamis were asked to go to Vrindavan by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to, I don't know if this is the correct word, but to excavate, right? To
Yes.
explore and discover certain sites. So this does not appear to be what Madhavendra Puri, Sri Madhavendra Puri is doing. He already knows, apparently, well, it does say he came upon the hill known as Govardhan. So it's not clear whether that was his purpose in going but it doesn't say anything about him being, searching for it, trying to excavate or discover it, right? So maybe that could be a difference between their
Yes.
purposes.
Yes. And so the glories of Vrindavan are particularly extolled by the followers of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's one of the main tenets of Krishna consciousness, that the holy Dham of Vrindavan is as good as Krishna himself. So that was maybe not as well known, or probably definitely not as well known prior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers' example and writings, preaching. Thank you.
Hare Krishna,
Ramiti.
Prabhu.
Haribol.
The word Brahm also sometimes means like illusion.
Ah,
Yeah, in Bengali. I don't know.
so in illusion we wander, but this time it's traveling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then text 22. So here we have prema matta. Prema matta means maddened by the ecstasy of love of Krishna. So what happens, he sometimes stood up and sometimes fell on the ground and such. So, sometimes we see people who have feign advancement in spiritual life show some ecstatic symptoms or apparent ecstatic symptoms. And how does one differentiate between the two? What is real ecstasy as manifested here by Madhavendra Puri and feigned or false? How does one know? Might be a good question to ask. There are many devotees that show this kind of madness, madness and because of the advancement and a love of God. Huh? So you might know some. Apparent madness.
You cannot
Mother
see just in isolation. If you look at the big picture, if you look at the whole picture, then it's probably a little easier to recognize what is feigned and what is real.
And what in the whole picture, if you looked at it, would give you clues that it was real or not.
They live their lives, how they practice devotional service.
Yes, yes. So if someone is showing signs of apparent ecstasy, but also smoking bidis or having illicit connection, then we would consider that likely not real devotional ecstasy. There's several, in our line, there was a associate of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur named Vangshidas Babaji. Vangshi, who was previously something like a pirate, a river pirate, but he lived naked on the bank of the Ganges, and he was very unusual. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said that he was a very high level of devotional service, spiritual ecstasy, and he advised his disciples to offer obeisances at a distance because they wouldn't be able to understand and they would criticize. And so he was validated as being an avaduta by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That's another way we can understand, Also, the example of Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat, he would take bath and then evacuate. So he did everything backwards. So this is kind of crazy, right? But by his one-pointed devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his preaching, you could understand his elevated position, as Maharaj Rohagana could understand after he had his interaction with Jad Bharat. So sometimes within our Krishna consciousness movement, people might feign their advancement. The famous incident was when some devotees in Los Angeles were interested in studying the Rasa Lila pastimes of Krishna, but they weren't interested in Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada was very disturbed about that. He called them in and he chastised them. And, from one point of view, you could say, well, they're all thinking of Krishna. They're thinking of Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada, he could detect a mistake early in their progression of supposed advancement in Krishna consciousness that had to be corrected. So he did that, and that was helpful for the society. Sometimes, it's seen, even though Srila Prabhupada, of course, was the ultimate authority that people are not generally going to defy. But within ISKCON also, sometimes we should continue to accept Srila Prabhupada as our authority and guideline of how to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. We in regular activities, for example, in sports, the umpire, the referee, is not usually appreciated. Is that right? They usually go against the referee. People don't like the referee; they throw stuff at him. But it's required in order to keep everybody on track. And before things get way off track, it's important to have some guideline like that. So before things get out of control off. So in yajnas, there are different priests during the chanting of the mantras and the offering of the oblations to the fire yajnas. There was one priest who was specifically responsible to make sure all these things are being done properly, because if you don't get done properly, you're going to get a different result. So that's an important point here, I think. Madhavendra Puri, even before his interaction with Gopal, the deity Gopal, he's exhibiting these ecstatic symptoms of love of Godhead. So that means he's incredibly elevated devotee here in Krishna consciousness, and we should offer our obeisances to this person, this our predecessor in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Okay, Hare Krishna. Mother Mukti Datri?
Yes, Prabhu. শৈল পরিক্রমা করি গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডে আসি স্নান করি বৃক্ষতলে আছে সন্ধ্যায় বসি.
After circumambulating the hill, Madhavendra Puri went to Govinda Kund and took his bath. He then sat beneath a tree to take his evening rest. So Govinda Kund is the Kund that resulted from after Lord Krishna saved the residents of Vrindavan by lifting Govardhan Hill, and Indra tried to destroy them. When Indra offered his asked for forgiveness from Lord Krishna, he bathed Lord Krishna with the celestial water from the trunk of Airavata, the elephant, and this Govinda Kund was the result. Next.
গোপাল বালক এক দুগ্ধ ভাণ্ড লইয়া আসি আগে ধরি কিছু বলিল হাসিয়া.
While he was sitting beneath a tree, an unknown cowherd boy came with a pot of milk, placed it before Madhavendra Puri, and smiling, addressed him as follows.
পুরি এই দুগ্ধ লইয়া করো তুমি পান মাগি কেনে নাহি খাহ খাও কিবা করো ধ্যান.
Oh, Madhavendra Puri, please drink the milk I have brought. Why don't you beg some food to eat? What kind of meditation are you undergoing? So one may wonder how the cowherd boy knew his name, right? Okay, next.
বালকেরও সৌন্দর্যে পুরীর হইল সন্তোষ তাহার মধুর বাক্যে গেল ভোগ শুষ.
When he saw the beauty of that boy, Madhavendra Puri became very satisfied. Hearing his sweet words, he forgot all hunger and thirst.
পুরী কহে কে তুমি কাহা তোমার বাস কেমতে জানিলে আমি করি উপবাস.
Madhavendra Puri said, "Who are you? Where do you reside? And how did you know that I was fasting?"
বালক কহে গুপ আমি এই গ্রামে বসি আমার গ্রামেতে কেহ না রহে উপবাসী.
The boy replied, "Sir, I am a cowherd boy, and I reside in this village. In my village, no one fasts."
কেহ অন্ন মাগি খায় কেহ দুগ্ধহার অযাচক জনে আমি দিতে তো আহার দিয়ে তো আহার.
In this village, a person can beg food from others and thus eat. Some people drink only milk. But if a person does not ask anyone for food, I supply him all his eatables. You know, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita that says similarly that so ananya chintayas tomam ye jana paryapasatite samnityabhayuktanam yogakshema vahamyaham. Those who are all meditating on my form, a transcendental nature, they I take care of what they need. Yogakshema vahamyaham. A similar statement by this cowherd boy. Text 30.
জল নিতে শ্রীগণ তোমারে দেখি গেল শ্রী সব দুগ্ধ দিয়া আমারে পাঠাইল.
The women who come here to take water saw you, and they supplied me with this milk and sent me to you. So how come the ladies didn't take the milk themselves? Huh?
Supplied me with
In
milk.
villages, usually they don't go in front of man.
Okay.
Unknowing person.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah. Could be that. Could be that.
Not only village, anywhere. They usually send to somebody.
Okay. Okay. X31.
গোদহন করিতে চাহি শীঘ্র আমি যাব, বা আরবার আসি আমি এই ভাণ্ড লইব।
The boy continued, I must go very soon to milk the cows, but I shall return and take back this milk pot from you.
এত বলি গেলা বালক না দেখিয়ে আর মাধবপুরীর চিত্তে হইল চমৎকার।
Saying this, the boy left the place. Indeed, he suddenly could be seen no more. And Madhavendra Puri's heart was filled with wonder.
Krishna.
দুগ্ধ পান করি ভাণ্ড ধুইয়া রাখিল, বাট দেখে সে বালক পুনঃ না আইল।
He didn't come.
After drinking the milk, Madhavendra Puri washed the pot and put it aside. He looked toward the path, but the boy never returned.
বসিনাম লয়পুরী নিদ্রা নাহি হয়, শেষরাত্রে তন্দ্রা হইল বাহ্যবৃত্তি লয়।
Madhavendra Puri could not sleep. He sat and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and at the end of the night he dozed a little, and his external activities stopped.
স্বপ্নে দেখে সেই বালক সম্মুখে আসিয়া, এক কুঞ্জে লইয়া গেল হাতেতে ধরিয়া।
In a dream, Madhavendra Puri saw the very same boy. The boy came before him and, holding his hand, took him to a bush in the jungle. So the Bengali word swapna deke. Swapna's dream, right?
Yes.
And deke saw. Swapna deke. Okay.
কুঞ্জ দেখাইয়া কহে, আমি এই কুঞ্জে রই, শীত বৃষ্টি বাতাগ্নিতে মহা দুঃখ পাই।
The boy showed Madhavendra Puri the bush and said, I reside in this bush, and because of this, I suffer very much from severe cold, rain showers, winds, and scorching heat.
গ্রামেরও লোক আনি আমাকারও কুঞ্জ হইতে, পর্বত উপরি লইয়া রাখো ভালো মতে।
Please bring the people of the village and get them to take me out of this bush. Then have them situate me nicely on top of the hill.
একমত করি তাহা করহ স্থাপন, বহু শীতল জলে কর শ্রীঅঙ্গ মার্জন।
Please construct a temple on top of that hill, the boy continued, and install me in that temple. After this, wash me with large quantities of cold water so that my body may be cleansed.
বহুদিন তোমার পথ করি নিরীক্ষণ, কবে আসি মাধব আমা করিবে সেবন।
For many days, I have been observing you, and I have been wondering, when will Madhavendra Puri come here to serve me?
তোমারও প্রেম বসে করি সেবা অঙ্গীকার, দর্শন দিয়া নিস্তারিব সকল সংসার।
I have accepted your service due to your ecstatic love for me. Thus I shall appear, and by my audience, all fallen souls will be delivered.
Shri Gopalo Namamura Govardhana Dhari Brojete Sthapito Ami Iha Adhikari.
My name is Gopal. I am the lifter of Govardhan Hill. I was installed by Vajra, and here I am the authority.
শৈল উপরি হইতে আমাকুঞ্জে লুকাইয়া স্ম্লেচ্ছ ভয়ে সেবক মুর গেল পলাইয়া।
When the Muslims attacked, the priest who was serving me hid me in this bush in the jungle. Then he ran away out of fear of the attack.
সেই হইতে রহি আমি এই কুঞ্জ স্থানে ভালো হইল আইলা আমা কারো সাবধানে।
Shabdhane. Say that word Shabdhane with
Care,
care.
with care.
Yeah. Banda mui Shabdhane mate. With great care. I offer my obeisances with great care. Guru Vandana. Since the priest went away, I've been staying in this bush. It is very good that you have come here. Now just remove me with care. Shabdhan. Yeah.
এত বলি সে বালক অন্তর্ধান কইল জাগিয়া মাধবপুরী বিচার করিল।
After saying this, the boy disappeared. Then Madhavendra Puri woke up and began to consider his dream.
শ্রীকৃষ্ণকে দেখিন মুই নারীনু চিনিতে এত বলি প্রেমাবেশে পড়িলা ভূমিতে।
Madhavendra Puri began to lament. I saw Lord Krishna directly, but I could not recognize him. Thus he fell down on the ground in ecstatic love.
অনেক রুদন করি মন কইল ধীর আজ্ঞা পালন লাগি হইলা সুস্থির।
Madhavendra Puri cried for some time, but then he fixed his mind on executing the order of Gopal. Thus he became tranquil.
প্রাতঃস্নান করি পুরী গ্রাম মধ্যে গেলা সব লোক একত্রে করি কহিতে লাগিলা।
After taking his morning bath, Madhavendra Puri entered the village and assembled all the people. Then he spoke as follows.
গ্রামেরও ঈশ্বর তোমার গোবর্ধন ধারী কুঞ্জে আছে চলো তারে বাহির যে করি।
The proprietor of this village, Govardhanadhari, is lying in the bushes. Let us go there and rescue him from that place.
অত্যন্ত নিবিড় কুঞ্জ নারী প্রবিশেতে কুঠারি কুদালি লৌহ দাঁড় করিতে।
The bushes are very dense, and we will not be able to enter the jungle. Therefore, take choppers and spades to clear the way. You know, we're talking about choppers.
কুদালি, yes.
You said you have that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kutari. What is a kutari? Is it not current, that word in Bengali or other languages?
We have kudal, but kuthari, I don't know. Kuthari.
I tried to look it up on the internet, and there's another word when you put in kutari, it comes up kukuri, which is like a sickle or a machete. It's a little smaller than a machete, but it's a curved knife that you use to clear brush. Kutari. Okay. And spades are, shovels, like shovels. Okay.
Yeah. They have so many things to do, like for the digging things.
Yeah. Kodali. Are they all kodali?
Yeah, we have also shovel, but this shovel is not like what we clean the snow. Our shovel is like a long iron thing with a sharp downside, and up is like little bit what is it? A little, both side is different. One is like sharp, one is like you can dig with that.
Okay, we'll have to take a look at those. Yeah. We'll see a
Yeah.
picture.
Kuthar
case
is
you're gonna-
used to cut the big trees.
What is that?
Kuthar is used to cut the big trees.
Ah,
Kuthar.
good. Thank you, Nishringa Paladeshwar. It's a bigger thing, huh?
Yeah.
You know this, yeah. From Bengal. Thank you. X50.
শুনি লোক তার সঙ্গে চলিলা হরিষে কুঞ্জ কাঠি দাঁড় করিলা প্রবেশে.
After hearing this, all the people accompanied Madhavendra Puri with great pleasure. According to his directions, they cut down bushes, cleared a path, and entered the jungle.
ঠাকুর দেখিল মাথি তৃণে আচ্ছাদিত দেখি সব লোক হইল আনন্দে বিস্মিত.
When they saw the deity covered with dirt and grass, they were all struck with wonder and pleasure.
আবরণ দূর করিল বিদিতে মহাভারী ঠাকুর কেহ নারে চালাইতে.
After they had cleansed the body of the deity, some of them said, "The deity is very heavy. No single person can move him."
মহা বলিষ্ঠ লোক একত্র করিয়া পর্বত উপরে গেল পুরী ঠাকুর লইয়া.
Since the deity was very heavy, some of the stronger men assembled to carry him to the top of the hill. Madhavendra Puri also went there. What was that? Maha in the Bengali? It says Maha Balishta. Very strong. Yeah. Using that. Okay.
পাথরেরও সিংহাসনে ঠাকুরও বসাইল বড় এক পাথর পৃষ্ঠে অবলম্ব দিল.
A big stone was made into a throne, and the deity was installed upon it. Another big stone was placed behind the deity for support.
গ্রামেরও ব্রাহ্মণ সব নবঘট লইয়া গোবিন্দ কুণ্ডের জল আনিল ছানিয়া.
All the Brahmin priests of the village gathered together with 9 water pots, and water from Govindakund lake was brought there and filtered.
নবশত ঘট জল কইল উপনীত নানা বাদ্য ভেরি বাজে শ্রীগণ গায় গীত.
When the deity was being installed, 900 pots of water were brought from Govindakund. There were musical sounds of bugles and drums and the singing of women.
কেহ গায় কেহ নাচে মহোৎসব হইল দধি দুগ্ধ ঘৃত আইল গ্রামে যত ছিল.
During the festival at the installation ceremony, some people sang Kihagai and some danced Kihanache. All the milk, yogurt, and clarified butter in the village were brought to the festival.
ভোগ সামগ্রী আইল সন্দেশাদি যত নানা উপহার তাহা কহিতে পারি কত।
Various foods and sweetmeats, as well as other kinds of presentations, were brought there. I am unable to describe all these. If you notice that, what's the word for sweetmeats here?
সন্দেশ
Sandesh adi. So sweetmeat starts with Sandesh adi means sandesh and all those things.
etc.
Yeah. So sandesh is the beginning. Sandesh. Prabhupada particularly appreciated sandesh, and devotees used to travel to New Vrindavan to get training from Radhanath, Brahmacharya at that time, on how to make sandesh just for Lord Krishna's and Srila Prabhupada's liking. Sandesh adi. Yeah.
তুলসী আদি পুষ্প বস্ত্র আইল অনেক, আপনে মাধব পুরী কইল অভিষেক।
The villagers brought a large quantity of tulsi leaves, flowers, and various kinds of garments. Then Sri Madhavendra Puri personally began the Abhishek bathing ceremony. Purport. In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, 6th Vilas, verse 30, it is stated that the deity should be bathed in water mixed with yogurt and milk, accompanied by the sounds of conch shells, bells, and other instruments, and the chanting of the mantra Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah, as well as the chanting of the Brahma Samhita verses beginning Chintamani Prakarasat Vasukalpa Vriksha Laksha Briteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam. Yes, this is the so. Sometimes we do chant the Brahma Samhita during the bathing of the deities, not as perhaps regularly as we could. And this mantra, Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah, not the same mantra we chant at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam class. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah, as well as the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, of course, too. So this is
The
mentioned in the Hari Bhakti.
Namaha you use when you're doing the puja, is that right?
Yeah.
We do it in the morning, we just Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, that's all.
Yeah.
When we are doing puja, that Namaha we use.
At the end, yeah.
At the end.
So Bhava Grahi Janardhan asked the question, what are sweetmeats? What do you think?
Sweets are generally called sweetmeats.
Yeah. Okay. If this is a little thing like in Old English, meat used to mean any food. Do you know that?
Oh.
So let the herbs bearing seed be for you, in the Bible says, let the herbs bearing seed be for you as meat. Oh, so yeah, meat is good for eating. Yeah. But meat used to have a connotation of any food. But over time, it changed to be just the slaughtered animal remnants. So now that, but there's some residual part of that is saying sweetmeats. It's meat food really means, but there's no meat in it. At least in the Hare Krishna movement, what we offer to Krishna, we don't put meat in it. But it's just a leftover from Old English, sweetmeats. Any other comments or questions or else before we go to the next one? No, there's a lot of things in there that we read about Madhavendra Puri's dream and Gopal and this. Anybody have any observations, comments, additions, corrections? Very famous pastime, Madhavendra Puri. One comment I have is that, this dream, Swapna Deke, is pretty precise and clear. When I have a dream, or perhaps when you have a dream, usually it's kind of jumbled up and doesn't make sense. Does that happen for you? But here, the Madhavendra Puri, the dream he has involving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not an ordinary dream, it's very clear. And in the dream, he's getting direction from Lord Krishna. So sometimes Krishna does give direction in a dream, and sometimes a spiritual master will give direction in a dream. And it's very interesting. Oftentimes, what happens after the death of a person, a relative, say, that relative might come in the dream of the the remaining ancestor, the remaining relative, to say, "Oh, I'm all right," things like that. But the dream of Krishna, or the dream about Krishna or the spiritual master, should be given special attention, because it often has some important meaning in the life of the devotee. Srila Prabhupada, of course, quoted how his own spiritual master appeared to him in a dream more than once. And do you remember this? What was his spiritual master saying to him?
He asked him to take sannyas.
Yeah, take sannyas, take sannyas. He did it more than once. He responded. So dreams about Krishna and the spiritual master should be given a special significance. Other dreams, they're just kind of residue from the day, but those dreams are particularly important. Now, how clear this dream is, very clear. Another point is that in the Pushti Marg, the Vallabha Sampradaya, their story is that Vallabhacharya was the one who discovered this Gopal deity. So, and they say he was buried. And this, so we don't find that here. We find that Madhavendra Puri, according to the Gaudiya Sampradaya, he found this deity. And later, Madhavendra Puri had his disciples worship, and then finally, some of the followers of Madhavendra Puri, of Vallabhacharya, took over at a certain point later. And then some of the discussions or the history was adjusted like that. But we take this as bona fide parampara information here. Another point is the deity was, even though the pujari put Gopal in the forest, hid him in the forest, and then ran away, the deity was complaining. Lord Gopal was complaining of being hot, cold, wind, rain. So, but Krishna is transcendental. How is it that he's he's complaining like this? What do you think? What is your take on that?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother Sundari.
I'm thinking it's possibly to increase Madhavendra Puri's determination to, it's a very personal way of almost bringing out the parental feelings of, oh my goodness, I have to take care of my deity, he's suffering. So it's a very personal way of interacting with Madhavendra Puri through the dream.
Yes.
Not that he's technically suffering from those things, but that he's reciprocating with his devotee.
Yes. So does Krishna sometimes suffer? Does Krishna get a headache? Does Krishna get a fever?
Yeah.
Well, of course, those experiences are not under the influence of material nature. They're not coming from the three modes of material nature. We sometimes suffer, from adi bautic, adi daivik, adi atmic miseries because of past activities, past bad activities or offenses. But Krishna, of course, that's not the case. But Lord Krishna's deity form he appears as the deity, particularly to give us the opportunity to serve him in various ways, by offering him nice foodstuffs, and making him comfortable by fanning, by bathing, by dressing. So that's the opportunity. So even though the deity Gopal was in the forest, still those functions he was wanting to get them from his devotee, and the pujari he ran away, but I guess he didn't come back, right? Otherwise, I was still in the bush. So he's still, even that's the purpose of the main purpose of the deity forms, is to gather up services, and when those services aren't done, then it's on a different level, not in the material, but a different level. It's there's some pain. Does that make sense? Krishna can have a headache if he wants to.
Hare Krishna.
Comments?
Prabhu.
Yes.
I have a question. This was the deity that was taken to Jaipur or some other deity?
This deity was later taken to Natwara. This is Srinathji. Generally, people they call him, address him as Srinathji or Gopal Nathji. That's the same deity here. You see with the left hand raised and a little finger there. So that's in Natwara, which is not far from Udaipur.
Okay.
The Govinda deity is in Jaipur. Govinda deity was another deity in Vrindavan that was taken to Jaipur because of the attacks of the Muslims, and at that time they were destroying all the deities, the temple deities, because of their views of impersonalism, impersonal philosophy.
Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Sure. Other comments? Text 60.
অমঙ্গলা দূর করি করাইলা স্নান বহু তৈল দিয়া কইল শ্রীঅঙ্গ চিক্কান.
After all auspicious things were driven away by the chanting of the mantra, the deity's bathing ceremony started. First, the deity was massaged with a large quantity of oil so that his body became very glossy. So in India, people in America, you put oil on your body when? Before or after your bath?
After bath.
After bath, right? But in India, you put oil
Before
before.
bath.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
bath we do.
yeah. That's Prabhupada used to put oil before bathing. He would take his massage with oil and then take bath. Yeah, yeah. There's a good reason for that. Yeah. Text 61.
পঞ্চগব্য পঞ্চামৃতে স্নান করাইয়া মহাস্নান করাইল শত ঘট দিয়া.
After the first bathing, further bathings were conducted with Panchagabya, and then with Panchamrita. Then the Mahasnan was performed with ghee. Yes, with ghee and water, which had been brought in 100 pots. Purport. The ingredients of Panchagavya are milk, yogurt, ghee, clarified butter, cow urine, and cow dung. All these items come from the cow.
Yeah.
Therefore, we can just imagine how important the cow is, since its urine and stool are required for bathing the deity. The Panchamrita consists of 5 kinds of nectar: yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, and sugar. The major portion of this preparation also comes from the cow. To make it more palatable, sugar and honey are added. So when we do the bathing, we generally don't add the urine and stool from the cow, but at least the Panchamrita is done. Some places there's agitation for doing maybe almond milk or other things like that. But these are the people are vegans. But this is for the Krishna's pleasure, so we will try to follow as mentioned here, the different substances for the pleasure of Lord Krishna's bath. So it seems like there was a bath with water first, and then with these substances. Yeah. Text 62.
পুন তৈল দিয়া কইল শ্রীঅঙ্গ চিকন শঙ্খ গন্ধ দোকে কইল স্নান সমাধান.
After the Mahasnan was finished, the deity was again massaged with scented oil. So oil before and after. And his body made glossy. Then the last bathing ceremony was performed with scented water kept within a conch shell. Purport. In his commentary on this occasion, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Barley powder, wheat powder, vermilion powder, urad dal powder, and another powder preparation called avata, made by mixing banana powder and ground rice, are applied to the deity's body with a brush made from the hair at the end of a cow's tail. This produces a nice finish. The oil smeared over the body of the deity should be scented. To perform the Mahasnan, at least 2.5 manas, about 24 gallons of water, are needed to pour over the body of the deity. 24 gallons, that's a lot. Comments, questions?
We don't know how big was the deity. It was heavy. But how big is the heavy deity, because they are pouring so much water? That means deity might be big.
Have you seen the Srinathji deity or Gopalnathji?
Yeah, I saw it.
How big is he?
It's not that big. That other, like Lord Venkateshwara, not that big.
But he's about, my recollection is, I went there for Srinathji's darshan. He's a little more than life size is my recollection. You know, so it's relatively large. Not as big as Ranganath, not as big as
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's not that big.
Yeah.
Compared to the.
But not a small deity. Not
Very small either.
Yeah.
Maybe because he was heavy, so his devotee only can carry him.
Yeah,
Madhavendra.
That's true, but this about 24 gallons of water, these things they're taking.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So we'll stop here. Thank you all very much. We're in the middle of this exciting pastime of Lord Gopal appearance on
nice.
Govardhan Hill.
Very nice, this Gopal.
Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anta estaba